Hi guys, welcome to the latest episode of Cricket Draft Insights. I'd like to share my one-day cup squad with you. Maybe it's a provisional squad. The game hasn't been released yet. I'm recording this a week or two in advance. We don't even know the values yet, but I'm pretty set on a sort of 15-player squad at the moment. So we'll see what happens with the values and if I need to make any sort of minor adjustments. But here is my 2024 Cricket Draft one-day cup squad. Starting with the batters, I'm going with Josh Bohannon, Miles Hammond and Kashif Ali. Josh Bohannon sort of spent the second half of last season in the county championship in my team, and he started this season in my team, and of course I took him out and he scored a double hundred. He hasn't excelled in the T20 Blast, can look a bit frenetic at times, but he performed well in my one-day cup team last season, and I would have thought he'd do well this year too. And the other two, Miles Hammond and Kashif Ali. So both in my county championship team. Kashif Ali's obviously been particularly popular. Miles Hammond has really sort of kicked on a bit and developed some consistency this season. I brought both of those into my T20 Blast team because I'm really trying to align my teams, because as I said to some of the guys, maybe they score runs in one format and I'm thinking, well, hold on, he's scoring some runs in the T20 Blast. I've got him in my county championship side. I plan to have him in my one-day cup team. I'll get him on my T20 Blast team as well. But looking ahead to the one-day cup, Bohannon, Hammond and Kashif Ali as a batting unit. Kashif, again, in my team last year, extremely destructive. And, really looking at this team as a sort of best of the rest. Obviously, players like Michael Pepper and Irene Donald at the 100 aren't available. So like I say, really looking at this as what I perceive to be best of the rest players. Moving into the all-rounder slots, now I'm going to start with a batter. So Rob Yates, who has, I think, only 4 List A wickets, but he did very well with the ball in the county championship when they were using the Kookaburra ball. And I would have thought it's likely that he could get some opportunities with the ball in the one-day cup. And as with all my all-rounders, so Kieran Carlson, who has been listed as an all-rounder in the county championship, I think probably will be in the one-day cup. Rob Keogh and Cameron Steele, all players you'd think would, even if they didn't bowl, would look to be getting in the team as a batter alone. But I think those guys, Keogh, obviously I'm a big fan of. Carlson's been irregular, did well for me last year in the one-day cup. Keogh really came to the fore as a one-day player. Obviously been regulars in my county championship side. Steele is one I've never really had, but I've always liked, and it's been nice to see him play regularly. So those guys, expecting them to contribute with the bat and with the ball. They're all rounders, aren't they? Obviously, going to hope that they're going to contribute with bat and ball. So they're my all rounders. In the wicket-keeper slot, I'm going for Tom Moores. Now, I did have him originally in the county championship. I know he doesn't have a great record. I think actually his List A record is okay. And I thought he was doing really well in pre-season, but it was time for him to pick up, to kick on a bit. And then he didn't get picked, obviously. He's coming to the side later. He hasn't really done particularly well. But I do think in the one-day cup, there's the opportunity for him to just do a bit better. I'll come to my sub in a minute. It might be a bit more of a consistent batter, wicket-keeper. But I think Moores has it in him to be a bit more dynamic. So Tom Moores is my wicket-keeper. Onto the bowling front is where, well, I might think my entire team's interesting, but certainly my bowling attack is maybe where I've got concern, even though it's where I think there's extreme quality. Ben Code, Ethan Bamber and Jack White. So Ben Code and Jack White, I would have concerns that they're not, they're going to get rotated, if not injured. And Ethan Bamber, who then I'm looking at as being maybe the mainstay, obviously it's just been announced at the time of recording that he's leaving Middlesex. So you think, could they maybe leave him out because they want to invest in other players? Reading the full details, I don't think there's any doubt that Ethan Bamber is fully committed to giving his all to Middlesex. So I would imagine, I think they lose Tom Helm to the 100. So I would have thought Bamber's still going to play. So hopefully Ben Code and Jack White, who's missed quite a lot of the county championship, are going to be fit. And in contrast with my spinners in the all-rounder roles, my bowling attack will be a pace bowling attack. Ben Code, Jack White and Ethan Bamber, who might be perceived to be red ball cricketers. They're not really T20 cricketers. But again, I think they all did all right in one-day cricket last season. On the bench, I'm anticipating having Harry Finch as sort of cover for my batting and wicket-keeping role. And then a couple of all-rounders, Matthew Waite, who I really like, and Luke Benkenstein, who's my, sort of youngster potential breakout star. I know he took a 5-week hold a few years ago, then he was injured. He's played a bit in the T20 Blast, but he's down the order. Maybe only bowling 1 or 2 overs. I did think I might have mentioned this before when they were sort of round 3, round 4 of the county championship. Noah Tain played a bit for Essex, and I thought if they'd still been using the Kookaburra ball, they might have played Benkenstein. He's been phenomenal for England's under-19s and the second 11. Might seem a bit overkill with 2 all-rounders, but I just think this whole squad that I'm putting together, I know we're always full of confidence at this stage. You know, we think everything's going to be rosy and go well and full of confidence in our players, but I really think I can just manage, you know, this small pool of players and do well. And obviously it might be that a game week 1, maybe Worcestershire are playing twice. I think we'll have that in the One Day Cup. Some teams play twice, some teams play once. So then maybe I'll say, well, hold on, actually Surrey are only playing once, so I won't, you know, Cameron Steele's on the bench and maybe Matthew Waite comes in. And anyway, the one remaining slot is Matthew Taylor as my sub bowler, left armour. Historically, I think his numbers were a bit high, but finished last season strongly, was I think injured for a bit, but then did well in the county championship, and alongside David Payne, who's obviously, you know, absolutely tore it up in the T20 Blast. It's about 16 or 17 wickets for, I don't know, you know, about 12 or something. So he'll be in the mix as well. So that is my 15-player squad. Josh Bohannon, Miles Hammond, Kashif Ali, Rob Yates, Kieran Carlson, Rob Keogh, Cameron Steele, Tom Moore's behind the stumps, Ben Code, Ethan Bamber and Jack White. And then on the bench, I've got Harry Finch, Luke Benkenstein, Matthew Waite and Matthew Taylor. And I'll probably go Keogh captain, Carlson vice captain, or maybe it depends, you know, who's playing how many games. But yeah, really set on that squad. If I have to do a bit of minor tinkering because of the finances, but equally, you know, I haven't picked 1 or 2 of the really big names. And obviously, I would say the big omission, whilst I appreciate there's some international stars, pretty sure, would be a really obvious one. Sorry, completely lost my train of thought there, but what I was getting at is I haven't picked Ed Barnard, who, will that haunt me? Obviously, Ryan Higgins is another one, is at the 100. Barnard, phenomenal last year, and obviously a fine player. But you know me, I like to be a bit different, and if I pick Barnard, I've got to leave somebody else out that I'm really set on. So I'll probably compromise. You know, maybe he's gone up in price a bit, given how he did last year. Omit Barnard and go for those, you know, aforementioned players. So that's it for the One Day Cup. Like I said, I've recorded this a week or 2 in advance, so then by the time it goes out, maybe we'll have found out all these players are injured or something. But just as a side note, it's great to see the developments on the app. You know, obviously 1 or 2 teething issues early on, but then after a while, you know, Cricket Draft have added a few more layers now, and it sounds like there's a bit more depth coming as well. And I think that's, you know, really great to see. You know, hopefully everybody's gonna you know, make use of that and discover the One Day Cup and really enjoy the game. You know, I think it's looking really slick. I think the you know, the player profiles and the photos really add some authenticity to the app and the game. And yeah, there's some great detail in there, which you know, some of us are really, you know, really into digging into and using to make you know, informed selection decisions, at the risk of making this sound far more grandiose and important than you know, some people might consider. But it is the most important thing in the world. Cricket Draft, One Day Cup. That's my squad. Please let me know in the comments section who you intend selecting. I know some people, you know, will get a little bit frustrated with some of the big names missing, but what a great opportunity it is for some of these players. You know, great stories last year. Andy Umeed, can he back it up? But yeah, hope you enjoyed the game. Thank you very much for watching. How's that?